Welcome to the true final episode of Book of Shadows, everyone. The prologue, The Blood Drive, taking place 2 weeks after the events of Corpse Party Chapter 5. And of course our protagonist, well, who else? Naomi Nakashima. 2 weeks since the events that occurred in Heavenly Host. And she's still traumatized. Then again, can't say I blame her. And of course, typical gossip.
Housewife gossipy gossip on gossip.
Don't care about it.
Somehow, this might be relevant. I have an icky suspicion about this, considering there's not really been anything that's been irrelevant in Corpse Party, really.
But no, this is in the real world right now.
Well, yeah, but even the stuff that takes place in the real world seems to, affect the storyline sometime down the line.
Anywho.
And why are you... No. No.
Yeah.
Bad.
She still thinks that there's a chance that the people will remember.
And no one called you or anything. I mean, you've been out of your home for a week after probably spending pretty much a week yelling and crying at your mom, and probably dealing with numerous psychologists and therapists.
Well, anyway, but regardless, regardless, people just probably kept thinking that she was crazy and just ignored her.
Yes. It's the Neighborhood Watch Committee. Remind you not to sit in front of your best friend, your non-existent best friend's former home, and trying to tell them about their non-existent sister. It's a bad idea. Get out.
Unfortunately, Naomi's gonna have to learn that the hard way.
And like Seiko, you has basically turned into Kosan instead of Kasan.
Yep, you and his 2 younger siblings. That's why she's here, actually, because she's still holding on to a faint hope that they would actually know something, but she has no idea that they would not remember at all.
And even if they did, what's that going to do?
It's going to accomplish nothing.
I mean, right now their lives are as good as they can be, despite the fact that Yu's basically playing dad.
Even though they already have a father.
Essentially, yeah. But basically, all the people that have been raised, all their roles have been taken and been pretty much changed for the sake of pretty much keeping things in alignment.
And of course, who should stop her?
Satoshi?
Nope, Ayumi.
I honestly would think that Satoshi would be the one who would stop her, if anything.
Even though she understands, she does have a point, because what good would come of it?
Yeah, I'm your non-existent sister's best friend. I came to let you know that she existed at one point. Do you find this at all awkward?
No, I find it rather heartbreaking, because Naomi realizes the futility of it all.
Well, there's nothing that we can do about this.
No, because it doesn't really matter in the end.
Nope.
Nothing's got to bring them back.
Not like this.
The thing is, she was trying to hold back tears all this time.
And oddly, Ayumi is It's kind of odd considering how Ayumi basically wanted Naomi to pretty much burn in the fires of hell, but now she's taken on a more supportive role.
Because she went through the same hell that Naomi did.
And now that they're out, they can think clearly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those four, they no longer exist. Along with Lord knows how many. Just think about it. Entire families destroyed and they don't even realize it.
Speaking of which, does any... You would think that they would actually have some of the name tags.
No, it wouldn't matter because the faces would have been blotted out and the memories would have already been gone anyway.
Well...
So, Ayumi's been doing some research about Yoshi's home.
Ayumi's being proactive.
Well, then again, what happened at Heavenly Hills really bothered her. Not just that, but also what happened to Naho. But yeah, she does have a point because, of course, there was no information to be had about Sachiko in 1973 because as Kibiki noted in his articles, it never existed.
It's like she disappeared the very minute that she gave the testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there was even a testimony to begin with.
There was.
Could have been a forgery by her herself.
Either that or she just faded to obscurity since everyone was too focused on the murder case itself.
Instead of the one who survived.
Then again, in their eyes, she was already safe, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, or the fact that it's like, well, we don't really want to talk to you because you're going through a really hard time. It was a dramatic experience, as Sachiko just fades away laughing.
Probably so. So, her home is nearby.
Somehow I don't think so.
Well, it would make sense. She would have had to live somewhere close by to Heavenly Host. Not just that, but of course that very same home is where Naho found the original proxy doll.
The original proxy doll?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, you have to wonder, how exactly did the ritual exist in the first place? Which means there's more to this than we were ever told about.
In Heavenly Host itself, so this might give us some clues.
So we may as well head to the source.
Well, just as long as we don't have a quickening or endgame, I think we'll be fine.
Don't worry, the two of them do not die. They actually, whatever happens there, they do live.
Albeit probably scarred by something else, considering that Heavenly Host has that effect on everything.
And the fact that we're going to where the curse may have originated
could be far more dangerous.
But even so, they're beyond caring. Then again, they already survived the hell that was Heavenly Host. They could very well be able to survive what happens at that estate.
Maybe so, but if you're going to a place where it truly originated, the power there would be much stronger, and personally, I'd be a little more than timid on that.
Then again...
But then again, me, I'd probably actually bring some extra things, you know?
Well, as for Ayumi, actually, she has actually gotten stronger since her ordeal. You'll see what I mean by that later.
Well, I'm thinking like stuff like, you know, the prayer beads and such.
Well...
The holy water.
Well, no, but by that I mean... I will say this much, she has managed to endure being possessed much more than she did before, because now she knows exactly what she's in for.
Even so...
But we'll just have to find out for sure it will actually be enough.
Maybe it will, maybe it will not.
Because where we're going, if it is indeed where the curse originated, chances are it's gonna be just like how it was in Heavenly Hills, except much worse. And yeah, they just left without a word, not even telling their parents, because they would have been way too worried. They would have told them, "Don't go." Then again, these last couple of weeks had been brutal for the 5 of them. But of course, the passage of time will make them forget eventually.
Indeed, like all things.
So chances are they may as well take action while they still can. Yeah, Shangri-La ballad version. That's the scariest thing. Being the only ones who can remember them, and in fact, the passage of time will make them forget their faces and their voices.
And perhaps the memory that they have.
To the point where they may as well no longer exist at all. Yes, I mean, we do know that. Why are you bringing it up now of all times?
Well, I imagine Ayumi has a point to this.
Even so, she should know how emotionally fragile Naomi is at this point. Well, then again, there's this. Wait a minute.
Wait, how does this exist?
Considering Naho died in Heavenly Host.
Well, she died under the darkening.
Not to mention, due to that, her body more or less faded away, and she was able to linger on as a spirit. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that she died, and yet her blog still exists.
My theory is mostly Sachiko kept the blog around because...
More victims.
Yeah, I mean, more people murder without, you know, just it being word of mouth. I mean, this is perfect. It's Lance's slaughter.
Then again, it could also mean that Sachiko herself had the ability to more or less choose who gets to live and who gets to die. It's basically on a whim. Because even Kibiki was allowed to exist still. Even though he practically did not have a hand in, you know, actually having Naho do that. Oh, then again, he did by actually leaving her behind.
Well, another point is it might have to do with if Naho's blog is still around, maybe it's because Naho's influence around, you know, Japan was too hard to erase as well. Because she did do a number of things besides this blog. And maybe Sachiko couldn't erase it no matter what she could do anyway, and then she decided, fuck it. The blog works, so...
Well, then again, do we really have any idea what is gonna happen? Or at least, what really happened in her mindset?
Who knows?
What we do know is the fact that this is enough of a motive for them to keep on going. This is enough of a reason. At least it's that much.
Yeah, it probably feels good considering the fact that you guys feel like that you've ran for miles from hell itself. And, well, you did.
Yeah. That reminds me, actually. This track was actually in Blood Covered originally. In the extra chapter version of Tooth. When Toko hid in the infirmary.
Ah.
Yeah. And of course, this had to be used again to great effect in episode 1, when Seiko confessed.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I bet some of you are confused about... Oh, wait.
Actually, it's not as complicated as you think. It's like how, you know, there's numerous McDonald's in the US and probably England itself. to try to connect them all as one clan is really difficult. So,
anyway, as I was saying, some people are probably confused about in episode 1 why there was that past sequence with Naomi regarding her past.
it was referring to the fact that she has a tendency of blurting out things that, well, that are rather negative against her.
The thing is, that's been a part of her ever since she was a child. It's just that in Heavenly Host, it was used against her.
Just like anyone else who has that kind of weakness.
Except that it was definitely her fatal flaw. It helped contribute to her losing her best friend.
And it also contributed to her having the darkening twice, nearly.
Because as I mentioned before, she was taken over by the darkening the first time in order to hang Seiko. And she was momentarily freed from it, only for her to, just in time for her to realize that Seiko was hanging, with her having no idea that she was responsible. And then, in her despair, she fell victim to it again. And that is why she was hanging herself. But of course, Satoshi managed to save her in the nick of time.
And then there was the third time where
she nearly succumbed to it completely.
Only to have Seiko keep texting her, telling her no hard feelings. No hard feelings.
Yeah. Ugh. Great. Not only is it creepy in this place, but also there's no GPS data at all.
Nanako, what the hell was that? I don't know. I think it was some random neighbors. Okay. Just make sure to tell me if somebody knocks again.
Alright. Oh, there's a slightly more inviting looking residence nearby, sporting a blue roof.
Hey, oi. Excuse me. It's odd that they're not saying konnichiwa, but they're saying sumimasen, which is usually something like, excuse me.
Well, then again, you know, translation's not always perfect. Then again, it could also be paraphrasing.
Yeah, and it would kind of make sense that they'd do that to give this place a more, I suppose, maybe give their accents a more natural feel in dialogue.
Perhaps. Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. We just have no idea what it is or where it is. Considering there's no house number either. Well, at least the old woman is friendly.
So far, but I have a feeling that it won't be as it appears the minute that we mention the Shionzaki residence, will we?
Speaking of which, that's exactly what she's doing. Let's see. Huh? I take it Yoshi was not, well, liked here.
Maybe
either that, or it's bringing up memories of perhaps the incident from 1953.
Or could it be 73 for all we know? That's a possibility.
I don't think it's even explained.
Because odds are we probably won't be encountering this lady again.
Probably not. Oh, that was a bust.
Oddly, Hayaku is usually referred to as saying hurry.
Or at least anything related to anything that's similar to hurry.
Yeah.
As I said, translations tend to paraphrase.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to think of you, Narukami, doing the translation notes again.
Right. Well, then again,
I gotta have some light humor.
Then again, there's no such thing as direct translations.
Yeah, yes there is.
Because, well, the thing is, if it was the case, then it wouldn't sound right.
True, but
it also wouldn't. Yeesh. But then again, it wouldn't make sense to non-Japanese speaking audiences.
Well, true enough, because the way that their pronunciation as well as their sentence structure is different from ours.
One such case, Final Fantasy VI.
True that.
There's a lot of references to the Japanese culture that would not even be understood completely in America.
True that.
Still long and winding road.
Pizza! Pizza!
Oh great, so we're heading up to the mountains.
Well, at least we're not going there with a camera obscura. Even though that'd probably help us.
Either that or I wish we had a flashlight.
That too! And a vacuum.
Car!
Yeah.
You sound weird, sir.
You sound like the miner from Tornade Gundam who dug out the Kapu units and the Zakus as well as the Will Game.
And now she has a confident-looking face. Oh, he knows about the place. Well, I'm not gonna. They shouldn't really, they should really take this opportunity to go there.
Well, this will be a lot quicker and safer in the long run.
It's better than getting lost.
It's a ways in there.
Oh, thanks!
Not something I would rather do, but at this point, we might as well...
Well, it's better than going home empty-handed. Anyway, so we're heading off to the mountains. Oh, that's okay.
I just hope that she's wearing like a lower seatbelt.
I think she is.
We can hope.
Because shoulder strap seatbelts tend to be at the doors.
Well, yeah. We're working on an article for particular family residences.
Yeah, it's about Yoshi Shinozaki. Oh! Her home was a home run clinic. Oh, so she was practically a doctor here.
Wait, so you're telling me that she not only ran a clinic at home, she also did nursing at the school, despite the fact that this drive takes a while. What is she, Pearls?
I don't know. Then again, she probably did have a car or some sort when she was still alive.
That sounds more of a likely story, but considering that whether the question is whether she kept driving with the car or she took the train.
Who can say? Anyway, it's starting to get really bumpy.
Sir, I'd rather not have the Yukari mobile now. I'll never be afraid of roller coasters again.
Okay.
I think he needs it just to get up the hill.
Huh? Oh dear. What the hell happened? Well,
I think I want to get up this thing.
Yeah. Oh, a person on the road?
I wonder if that's relevant.
I had no idea. What?
It? It could be a human being.
Wait, huh?
How would you know that? Ayumi? I say that we should be making trails and before he invites us to the back of the van for the slaughterhouse that we've already been to once.
Truck.
Yeah, but I've actually seen that done in a show.
I believe you. It's just, yeah, I think we're done with this ride.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here and do it now.
Or forever hold your peace.
I'm kidding.
If you say so.
Oh, okay. That sounds reasonable, but I'm gonna be going now. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it kind of odd that apart from inner dialogue at one point, Naomi always refers to Ayumi as class rep.
I also kind of find it odd that cute is kawaii and afraid is kawaii. Kind of interesting. Wordplay there.
Different inflections?
Well, you're also missing out the YE.
Yeah, that too.
It plateaus up ahead.
Huh, finally made it at least. Finally.
Finally made it. And what do we got?
Apparently nothing.
Jack shit. We did this for nothing.
We lean but two things right now, Jack and shit, and Jack left town with Jill. Wait, huh? A barn?
Well, we got nowhere else to look, so...
Well, it's surprisingly still in decent shape.
Decent?
Well, considering. I mean, it's not, you know, gone, unlike the house.
Well, I suppose, but it still looks like it's rusted and is...
Well, I say it's still in good shape considering it hasn't fallen down like a house of cards.
Well, yeah, or the fact that it hasn't just crumbled.
Mm-hmm. And apparently this barn still has electricity. Huh?
It's funny that you don't investigate that part.
Yeah. Anyway, a large drum.
For burning waste products that could be used for anything.
Yeah, who knows what it was. I mean, seriously, over 50 years have passed. Yeah, it could be anything.
And since, well, they probably looked in detail just to see if there was anything at the bottom, but no.
A hemp sack with some kind of grain.
Grain?
Well, then again, they were out in the middle of nowhere. This is a barn.
Well, wait, so she was working a barn as well as being the family...
Then again, that could probably be attributed to her husband.
That's actually a thing that we never talked about.
Yeah.
What about her husband?
Something tells me it's gonna be explained later.
Shinozaki won.
So yeah, this was definitely Yoshi's house.
Just based on that mere little factoid, but
well,
can we look at the light and understand it?
Nope, just these four objects, and then we're out of here because, well, we've got nothing.
Quite literally nothing. Great.
But of course, this ain't the end of the episode, obviously.
I wonder who would have been to do it if it was recent. Could it have been Naho?
That would make sense, actually.
Yeah, that would.
Considering, I think the blog entry was dated 2011, I think.
Yeah.
So, perhaps it would have been that recent. Oh.
Well, aside from that thing proving that they did live here.
Yeah.
Or at least some branch of the family did.
Yeah. Well, might as well start heading back.
Well, that sucked. That was a letdown.
It was. So, see you guys in part 34 for the continuation of the prologue of Blood Drive.